Belfontaine, and you're listening to the HomeBuyer's Hour on WCPT AM 820. We're missing our favorite mortgage person today, so I'm going to apologize in advance, Joey Matthews, but we still have two of my favorite people here in the studio with me. So Patrick Loftus and Ryan McKane. Pat, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself and your company and say hello to somebody special.
Hey, good morning. My company is Loftus Law. I'm a real estate lawyer, so if you're buying or selling your home, give me a call. I would like to say good morning, although it won't be morning when we watch this, but good morning to Miss Naya T-Cat, our cat, and my beautiful wife, Anna.
Sounds good. And Ryan, we got a whole new world for you.
You do.
So give us the whole details. It might take a minute or two, but go ahead and explain what the heck you did in this real estate market here.
So I formed a real estate team at Keller Williams OneChicago in Lincoln Park.
Nice.
With two partners, Patrick Dodd and Raymond Melencio. So we decided to start this team for a number of reasons, but really, we're just one. We wanted to bring a little bit different approach to real estate marketing and the whole customer experience, but also from the agent's perspective, just a different experience for a real estate team. And so we're excited to launch this and get it started. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's my third time, so you guys can pretty much claim me as a dependent on your taxes.
Okay, so. Done. That's okay. I'm going to do that in a heartbeat.
I may have to consult with my accountant before I fully commit to that, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I think the line item is anything Ryan says.
That's right. That's right.
So what's the name of this team?
So the name of our team is Mynt Properties, MYNT, and so we just kind of hope to bring a fresh approach, pardon the pun, but just a fresh approach to real estate and the real estate transaction experience, and just kind of use our unique skill sets to present that to customers. And so far we're kind of clicking along and things are going well. So that's
you know what, and I got to tell you, that's a huge thing, and I know we didn't have time to get some talking points today, so this is kind of a curveball, and I could take over if you need. Mm-hmm. But being different and being unique, and having what we call USPs or unique selling product or whatever the P was, I forgot what it was.
A proposition.
One thing at least that sets you apart. So you say you want to do real estate different. Go into detail with that. How do you want to do it different?
So we want not only do we want to market our properties a little bit differently in terms of, not just in terms of staging and to bring it back to marketing 101, placement. So there's going to be that aspect, but also with the client experience. Yeah, it's when you talk to customers and clients after they've purchased a home or sold their home, there's always some issues that come up along the way, and all three of us have service industry backgrounds. We've all been either bartenders or waiters, and part of being a good waiter and being in the service industry is anticipating problems before they arise, and we kind of hope to be able to solve that and set expectations up front. Like, these are the things that could happen during a transaction, and just kind of be a little bit more proactive. But also something I've always kind of put a lot of pride behind is I am brutally honest and transparent with our clients. And that's kind of part of our mission statement, and part of our ethos is just being brutally honest and transparent with our clients as much as possible. But also, we look to do things like a lot of in-person events, and just really really just show our clients that we really do genuinely care about them. They're not just a transaction. They are, we look at it as a relationship, and that's how we look at our clients. And
which is smart. Everybody should be looking at that. That's what we mostly do.
Yeah,
as a relationship business.
Everybody should, but it doesn't always get done. And that's we just kind of want to be a little bit different. But from the agent perspective, once we start hiring agents, both Patrick and Ray were on real estate teams prior to forming Mint, and we see it so often. And when I talk to agents in the field, I hear this all the time. When somebody joins a team, there's really no benefit to joining a team. It's just you basically become a glorified assistant for the team lead. You get taken advantage of. You're not given a lot of support. You're not given leads. And basically you're just kind of left blowing in the wind without really any value to being on a team, yet the team lead gets paid on every single transaction that you do. And I really do, kind of in this next phase of my career, I really get excited and passionate about helping new agents grow and helping new agents grow their business and learn the business. And I really do genuinely care. Like, if somebody works underneath me, I look at it as my duty to make sure that they succeed. And that's really something that we're putting a lot of emphasis on with Mint, is that we, if you join Mint, you're going to grow. You're going to succeed. We are going to provide you with support, mentorship, and just the tools that you need to really become successful in this business. And just because my life has completely changed with real estate, and this, not to sound conceited or a humble brag, but consistently, I've earned more than most doctors, and I barely graduated high school. And anybody can do that. I'm definitely not the smartest person you'll ever meet, but for somebody who is ambitious, does want to make a healthy income, and they want to change their family, and they want to be able to provide their family with experiences and things that they haven't had before, real estate's the way to do it. All you need is a license and the discipline and desire to succeed. And I really want to be able to help other people do that.
And the discipline, I think, needs to be in all camps. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, the license is very much the easy part of that equation.
Yep. Stupidly easy, and same in our business and stuff.
And the belief in yourself, or the desire. I think a lot of people get into whatever business they think that is going to provide them with success. They get into it. They think they believe that they are going to be successful, or that they have what it takes. And really, where the crucial moment is when it gets hard.
Yep.
And over the past couple of years, there have been some moments where the business part of it was easy, and now it's getting a lot harder. Mm-hmm. And I just heard yesterday, for example, I was talking to somebody, and they said that their real estate lawyer, who they'd used, 6 months ago, was no longer doing real estate. And in a way, in kind of a sick way, it made me feel it made me feel good to know that sort of what I predicted would happen, which is that the rat's sort of jumping off the sinking ship. My genuine hope was that sort of the pretenders, if you will, mm-hmm. as business becomes a little bit more harder to grab, they'd move on to something else. And those of us who are still in real estate and handling transactions, whatever your angle is on it, it's actually going to become better for us, because we're going to be dealing with the real professionals. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you, I remember you go back to 2012, 2013, when, volume was still recovering from the big bad thing that happened before that.
The light switch.
we at that point, you really were dealing with mainly the professionals, and over time, when you're dealing with a lot of newer people, and this is not to say that I don't welcome new people into this industry, quite the opposite. But those new people, I want them to become veterans so that they are then, we're on the same page. We're working from a similar, expertise and really the want and desire to be part of this, not just, this is going to provide a good living. There's then that next step, which is to really dedicate yourself, commit to this business. That's if someone's not demonstrated the commitment, and the words are easy to say, but it's commitment is something that you feel inside you.
No, I get you completely. And I'd like to ask you almost the same question as Patrick, but I'm going to first lead up with a little bit different. Are all real estate attorneys the same?
I don't think so.
Okay, and you laugh at that, and I respect that laugh, okay? But in all reality, do your clients, let me rephrase that question, do your clients think all real estate attorneys are the same? Or the real estate agents?
Some do. Some view folks, so, I'll use, for example, if somebody's calling and just asking 5 different real estate lawyers what their price is so they can find the cheapest one, that's someone that views us as a commodity. And likewise, if they're contacting 5 different real estate brokers to sell their home and they're looking for someone who's going to cut their commission down off of I guess it's 3% would be the standard, then that's someone that views real estate brokers as a commodity. Now, we've had enough real estate brokers in here to understand that a good real estate broker adds a tremendous amount of value. But I can tell you, you can go online and you can find the haters and lawyers and real estate brokers alike. Now, there's more lawyer jokes than real estate broker jokes, but it won't take me but about 30 seconds to find some hate on the internet for real estate brokers.
Yeah, it's too many times people conflate price versus value. And, just yesterday, and I've used this line before, but yesterday I had a client reach out to me and say, hey, I got this flyer in the mail for an attorney that'll only charge me $200 for a closing. And I said, there's 2 things in life that you don't go cheap on: toilet paper and your attorney, and definitely don't do both in the same week. So
I need you to send an email to my wife. We fight over that damn toilet paper like there's no tomorrow. Is that too much personal information? I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my God, my in-laws are listening to this.
Charlie, I'll embarrass myself as well. We have, my wife and I have never spoken about this, so when we do end up watching this, there's going to be an awkward moment. But she's an under the
that's against the law,
and I'm an over.
No. We're north of the equator.
When she puts it under, I every single time I switch it. She's never mentioned it, and again, this is gonna produce sometime in the next week an awkward moment with me and my wife, and. So
thank you for listening to the HomeBuyer's Hour, where toilet paper installation is a high priority in our minds.
It's one of the few things we all use, so we all have an opinion about it.
So, Ryan, let me put you on the spot, and this is going to be a selfish thing that I'm going to be asking. You get vendors, and you have expectations of your vendors, and you give those referrals to your clients. What is something that you're looking for as far as a home inspector goes?
For me, the biggest one is, are they an educator and an advisor? Because oftentimes when I'm sitting in an inspection, you've got inspectors that are just basically panic merchants, and they're just trying to scare everybody.
Oh, give me some examples.
Perfect.
Let me know how to handle your jobs. All right.
A perfect example of this was right when I got back into residential real estate in 2016. Yeah. I had an inspection in Buena Park. First time home buyer. I was the listing agent. And this inspector, and of course the mom and the dad were there, so the whole family. The inspector went in one of the closets and he said, "Hey, there's no lens around the light bulb in this closet. Because of that, if you fold and pile sweaters on that top shelf, it's a fire hazard. It could cause a fire. It could potentially burn down the whole building." And I was like,
"That's what they teach in home inspector school. It's a shame."
I was just like,
"So put a damn globe on it."
Yeah,
sorry for swearing if that is a swear word, but
it's okay.
You know?
When I see that one on a report, I say to the client, "Look, you and I both know that you're not stupid enough to stack 6 wool sweaters and lean them up against that light bulb. So let's not worry too much about that one."
Yeah, I was just like, while he was saying that, I was just like looking at him. And after he was done speaking, I said, "Are you serious?" I was like, literally, you can buy a globe or, put a 25-watt light bulb in there that has no heat, or an LED. And but yeah, really just taking the time to educate buyers and sellers about the issues. And I understand that you have to make the buyer aware of everything that you see, but much like anything else in life, it's how you frame it. You can make good mornings sound like, F you. So it's really how you position it and frame it, and taking the time to educate them and letting them know that, hey, these are concerns. This is health and safety related. But really, that's probably, when it comes to home inspectors, that's probably my biggest the biggest thing I look for is, are they taking time to educate and really explain what the issues are? Because I've had home inspectors in the past that will just rattle off this long list of items. They won't explain it, and the buyer's left scratching their head. And if it's anything I've learned just on my 41 years of life on this planet, it's when people are scared or nervous or anxious, everything that you say to them gets amplified. So if somebody says, "Hey, this," like I'm going through this right now on a listing of mine in Lakeview, the inspector said, "Oh, this could potentially be mold in the garage." And I'm like, "Well, it potentially could be, but it's most likely not." So we had to have a mold inspector come out. He said, "No, there's no mold. It's just a stain." But yeah, it's just being sensitive to that, because the best way to put it would be your bedside manner. What's your bedside manner like? How are you explaining things? Because I've had an inspector in the past that he was really rough with my clients and just would not take the time to really explain things. And that it scared off a lot of buyers, and I got a lot of negative feedback. So I had to change. So
no, I got that.
Yeah.
I do, before we go on too much further, I just want to give a shout out. One of our favorite peoples, Andy Burton, is listening in, and he put up a little comment. So hello, fellas. So,
hey, Andy.
Yeah, he owns Real Producers. If anybody's listening on the radio station, do a search for Real Producers magazine, whether you're a real estate agent or not. He handles North Shore, Chicago, and DuPage, for these magazines, and he puts on great events, by the way. You want to get into his magazine.
And Andy, if you're still listening, send more knives. And I love the pizza cutter. Love it.
Me too. So for me, going in there, since we're a little bit more or still on the home inspection thing, for me, it's always the accuracy, and I hear what you're saying. And one of the problems with the home inspection profession, especially a business like mine, when we try to grow, is maintaining consistency. I think since this real estate is a relationship building business, most of the time we're used to building that relationship with a single individual. All right. And I hear what you're saying about telling somebody and leaving it out there. But even when you're a good educator, and it's kind of what I do for a living too, it's also the receiver. It's sender, receiver, medium. And also our client may not hear what I'm trying to tell them. And they may hear what they want to hear, that comes in there. And that's part of the reason where I do this personally. We end up doing a follow-up Zoom call where I pull a report up there, find out what's important to people, give them some dollar values on what's going to be there for the solution. And that has been, I've gotten a lot of compliments coming back from our clients because they see 15 junction boxes, 1,900 junction boxes in the attic that don't have cover plates on them. And they're like, oh my God, my house is going to burn down. Okay, there's a chance, absolutely. But it's $2 for each one and 2 screws. And I know I repeat that stuff. I'm a broken record sometimes. But, and Andrew, or not, Patrick, I'm sorry. I gave you the same thing. I don't know why, because Andy Burton. But it's the same thing with you. It's how do you set yourself apart to that you're not a commodity? How do you explain that to whether it be a business partner that we want to build a relationship with or a potential client?
Well, I don't attempt to explain, what my value is, because the words, they don't have any unique words. I have a different personality than other lawyers. That is fine. I can say that, or, I handle things, I handle everything myself. I don't send you to any sort of assistant, and you always have my cell phone. Okay, great. I'm still not hearing anything unique. So then the question becomes, what am I selling? And really, I'm selling me. You want to work with me because I am a really good experience to work with. And how do I express that? Really, it's by doing, and then showing the world how I do things. What is my process? Do you want to work with someone with my personality? If the answer is yes, great. Call me, 773-632-8330.
No, absolutely.
If you're looking strictly for the lowest price lawyer, you'll get plenty of letters in the mail from lawyers who are marketing direct to consumer, and they will offer that $200 fee. Now, why are they doing that? It's because they're getting paid on their title agent commissions. So basically, they're just farming for people who are looking for just strictly a lawyer that will handle the things. And trust me, you get what you pay for. You're probably never going to have a conversation with that lawyer, or if you do, it'll be a very short one. And they're going to be handling things strictly through paralegals, assistants. And if you're just looking to get the thing done, sure, by all means, you can shop for the least amount of service that you'll get for the lowest price. That's fine. I feel like, at least from the clients I work with, they're not looking for the lowest price and the least amount of service. They're looking to buying a house or selling a house is an experience.
It's an emotional experience.
It's an important experience. And
Yeah.
I'll use a poker term. Generally speaking, unless buying and selling homes is your business, you're probably going to be on tilt. Okay. And
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
So when you're sitting at the poker table and you're on tilt, it usually means you had a couple bad beats. Let's say you got dealt pocket aces and somebody came through with a backdoor flush. Okay. Those are all poker terms. If you don't play poker, you're not going to know what that means. It just means you started with the best hand and someone came through and swiped you with probably a hand that they shouldn't have been playing in the first place. And it's very frustrating. And it makes you so mad because you're like, ooh, that person's not very good at poker. And I'm very good at poker. And it's not. And Andy Burton, if you're still listening, he's loving this right now because he's a big poker guy. So if you're on tilt, it means that you're not thinking in your right head. So once you go into that mind space, you're making bad decisions. You're trying to chase those pots that you think you should have won.
Gotcha.
And you're playing hands you shouldn't be playing, and you're doing all the wrong things. You're going to walk out of there probably not only with empty pockets, but with a couple of ATM receipts that you wish you hadn't gone to the ATM. So when I think about that in terms of my client who is about to sink, perhaps $500,000 into a home, that is something that I feel like is not that experience is something that you want to have a professional who is not only capable, but also is going to talk you through the issues like we've been discussing with the inspection stuff. I don't frame it in this way explicitly, but not everything is a 10. A lot of times you'll get that inspection report And if you're not with Charlie and he hasn't explained that, this is kind of a 1, this is a 3, this might be an 8, all you can really do to interpret that is you go, it's all 10s. And you're taking that person who's on tilt and you're pushing them farther into that mind space. And it's really, at that point, becoming a very bad experience for this person. Whereas if you go, look, let me, this is a 2, this is a 4. And yes, this report came back, it had a few things, but this is a really clean report. I've seen thousands of these, or go, oh man, that really is a big deal. But if you're just shopping for, the thing at the lowest price, you're probably just going to get someone who's like, which of these things do you want to ask for? So I don't know.
Let's turn that question and say you're talking to a client, and the people that are listening to the show this morning, what if you can give them 2 questions to ask an attorney if they're going to interview them, what would be the 2 most important questions that I want to ask to see if you're the right person for me?
Yeah. All right. So my first question is,
and Ryan, get ready. You're coming next. Same question.
Question 1, what percentage of your practice is residential real estate?
That's a great question.
The higher the number, the better. Because the more time you split between different areas of law, it's just inevitable that you will only have that much energy to devote to each area of law that you handle. Okay. And that's not to speak badly of attorneys that have more than one practice area. I just prefer to focus the vast majority of my attention on residential real estate. It's like 95% of my practice. So that's question 1. Question 2 is, where can I go to find out what kind of reputation you have in this field?
Another great question.
And so I'm not going to ask the lawyer, tell me what your reputation is.
I'm the best.
Those words
are, I'm the greatest.
Even if I believe every word they're saying, it's still not gonna it's not gonna move the dial for me. So where can I go? Can I speak to former clients? What do you have anything on social media? Are there do you have ratings on Google or Avo or wherever it is, so that I can find out from a third party perspective what is the experience working with this lawyer. And so, for me, I'm more than happy to share all of the places you can find my reputation, because I feel like I have a good one. And I feel like I continue to develop it. But
where really, are those, if you don't mind? I want to hear about where they're at.
Well, you can go to Instagram, Loftus_law. You can go to TikTok, at Loftus Law. You can, Google Loftus Law. You'll see the ratings.
Do people usually, like on Yelp or Google My Business stuff, when they is that common for attorneys that they review you there, or even Facebook?
Yeah, part of my practice is to ask people, hey, if you had a good experience, or even if you didn't, I can't really tell you what to say, but please go to Google and rate me. When you ask them, generally speaking, maybe 50% will go and write something about you.
All right.
But yeah, look, it's rare, I think, these days that someone's not going to put your name into Google if somebody, even if it's a referral from a trusted source, just to even find out if you have a website. I mean, so many lawyers don't have websites. It's mind-boggling. But I think that's really, to me, a bare minimum requirement. Have some sort of presence out there where somebody can go and look and get a feel for what you're about without having to be subjected to whatever your sales pitch is.
Which is interesting. And Ryan, I'm going to get you with the same question, but before we get there, how do people get hold of you, Patrick?
You can call at 773-632-8330.
Sounds good. And I'm going to go ahead and give a plug for our company first, and that's Chicagoland Home Inspectors. We have offices in Northbrook, Illinois, and also One Mag Mile building downtown Chicago. Our phone number is 312-544-9180. Repeating, 312-544-9180. We also own Home Inspection University of Illinois, and that website is HIUIL.com. Again, Home Inspection University of Illinois.com. And Ryan, how do they get hold of you, please?
My cell phone is 708-668 6613, and my email is Ryan at Mynt, MYNT, Chicago.com. So the best ways to get a hold of me.
Man, it must feel good to have like that new email address with that. You get that nice new email address smell.
Yep.
It's all minty fresh. Awesome.
Oh my goodness. So let's continue on with what Patrick was saying. What are you gonna tell somebody that has teeth, and it's not just, I guess it's always like, well, I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to do good work. I'm going to do that. Okay, those are all just words. What can you do to prove that you're worthy of a client? Or what do you tell them?
I always try to lead with value.
Me too.
And I've been in listing appointments before where the seller has said, well, I'm interviewing other agents, and I always say, well, you should. I mean, it really, if everything's equal and you're comparing apples to apples, you've got one agent that sold 100 homes in the last year and another agent that sold 100 homes in the last year, and they both are pretty much the same. I just say, well, who would you rather have a beer with? Because this is going to be a 3 to 6 month relationship. You've got to like the person. You've got to get along with them. You have to have good rapport. And you have to trust them. I mean, would you let them babysit your kids? If not, then no. Don't work with them. And then also, like, there's been times where I'll pull up somebody's tax records and see that they didn't get the homeowner's exemption for the last 4 years. And I just tell them, look, you're missing out on free money. I'll send them all the paperwork so they can just take care of that right off the bat. I'll fill it out for them. So all they have to do is basically sign and send it in or bring it down to the
You're showing your usefulness.
You're stealing my thunder, man. Whenever I see that, I'd shoot an email to my client right away with the link to the assessor's office where they can submit their certificate of error. Yeah. And you've already done that, you little so-and-so.
Sorry. I'm just, I guess I'm just good at my job, I guess. But yeah, I really try to lead with value. And I mean, there's been times where I've met with sellers, and I've actually had this happen a few times where I've set them up with my handymen, painters, general contractors. They do all the work, and then they list it with somebody else. But I always say, like, that's a reflection of them. That's not a reflection of me. The fact that they used all my referrals is kind of it makes me look good. But you can't make everybody happy. And I use this quote way too often, but I'm like, if you go on Amazon and you look up the Bible and you look up Barack Obama's book, they both have negative reviews on it. So if Barack Obama and Jesus can't make everybody happy, what hope do I have? So
spoken like a true progressive on a progressive radio station, and I'm gonna love all that.
Yeah, it's so yeah, you just really you really do try to lead with as much value and provide as much value as you can right off the bat. And we definitely live in a society where it's a feels before reals society, where people think their emotions are the truth. Yeah. And I've had times where I've told people flat out, like, your house is not worth what you think it is, because I genuinely look out for their best interest rather than just get their listing. Like, any agent can just say, oh yeah, your home is worth $1 million when it's clearly not. And
that's a tactic. I've seen that before.
Because they know eventually you'll drop your price.
Right,
and
right.
They'll
but I still got the listing.
Right, exactly. In my opinion, that it sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually selfish and self-serving on the part of the agent, because they're just trying to get your listing. They're not trying to be honest and upfront and look out for your best interest right off the bat.
Definitely. I mean, isn't that seller going to end up, it's going to cost them money, because if you go on the market at, the most strategic price, that's where you're going to get the multiple offers. That's where you're going to get, you're going to be on a contract in a couple of weeks in this market, if that. Yep. Whereas if you start high and people are like, I don't think so, you spend 60 days on the market, you're going to have to drop.
Right.
And that's not where you want to be at all.
These are old statistics, but it just demonstrates the point I'm trying to make. Before COVID and everything, before the housing market really got hot, the national average was, if you price your home correctly right off the bat, you will sell for about 98% of ask, versus if you have to do one or more price reductions, you're going to sell at about 90%. So that just kind of
stats. Say that again.
So if you price correctly, you will sell for about 98% of asking price. If you have one or more price reductions, you will sell for about 90%. So it's a big percentage. It's a lot of real money. So you're better off pricing correctly, because it really comes down to social proof. So what I mean by that is, if
you knew I was going to ask,
I bet this is my third time on the show,
exactly. Charlie. Yeah. Damn, this guy's going to ask me anyway. I might as well get it out.
We actually showed up to the show today on a tandem bicycle, Charlie and I. But
no, we didn't.
But what I mean by social proof is, if buyers are seeing that a home has been on the market, let's just say 45 days, which in this market might as well be 45 years, basically they're looking at that home, and if you've had to do one or more price reductions, they're looking at that home and they're thinking, okay, what's wrong with this home? All these other buyers didn't want this place. Why should I? Even if there's nothing wrong with it, they just priced it too high. But it really just comes down to that social proof, and you're just better off pricing correctly the first time rather than trying to catch the market afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants something. People don't want something that nobody else wants, right? I mean, there's a few, there's a few outliers.
We mostly want what we can't have.
Well, it's comforting. It's more comforting to go into a situation thinking, well, I'm not the only one that thinks this or is doing this. And that, I think that's really what you're saying as far as social proof. I'm just using more words to say.
Well, you're an attorney. You charge by the time. So
based on some of the letters you get, you would think these lawyers are charging by the word.
Yeah.
It's just like, man,
reminded me of my book reports. He was a very, 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 very good president. It got to be 100 words. I had a whole lot of berries in there.
Yeah, can I tell a quick story about the certificate of error thing? Because it's eating at me. So I had to write this nasty letter yesterday. I represent a condo association. One of the unit owners is being naughty. But something I noticed when I looked at their property is that they're not getting the homeowner exemption. Mm-hmm. So as I'm writing all of these terrible things about this person, I've got a little footnote that says, by the way, your client is not getting the homeowner exemption, and if you want to, you might want to advise them to go ahead and apply for a certificate of error. Here's the URL. That's either going to go over like, well, at least he's not completely horrible, or they're going to go, what a real, words I can't say here on the radio, but
no, which is good. Ryan, you threw out a number earlier. You said, have they done at least 100 transactions this last year? And
that's a lot of transactions in 1 year.
Yeah.
I have, friends. I have other friends in real estate. Believe it or not, I got more than one. They will have to when I die, they're going to have to get a hall bigger than a phone booth in order to go ahead and house everybody there. So, and I remember one person did 5 transactions, or 6 transactions. I apologize, 6 transactions, and they were in the top 5% in the Chicagoland area. How does, what does those numbers mean? Everybody goes, I'm in the top 5 or top 10 or chairman's circle or, bourgeois, whatever. I don't know. They come up with some sort of superhero thing on there. But what does all that mean?
I think if you were in the top 5%, you only sold 5 homes. Those must have been some really expensive homes. But,
okay.
I think in my opinion, yes, the transaction count does matter, just because it's a benchmark for experience.
Oh, hell yeah.
But
yeah, it's a rep. Right?
It's a rep. It's a reputation. It's, it shows that you know how to solve problems. And it shows that you are actually working in the business, because there are so many realtors out there that are part-time, or I've coined the phrase, they are cicada agents. And what I mean by that is they've been licensed for a long time. They remain dormant. And then when the market gets hot, they come out of hiding and they do a couple transactions. And then when the market cools down, they go back into hiding, and you don't see them again for 7 or 17 years. And so because that... The fact that somebody is active in the market on an annual basis is important, because our business changes every year, changes every month. And I mean, I've had so many times where an agent has reached out to me. I've had 2 in the last 2 months with like, can I fax you an offer? And I just said it would be easier for me to find a time machine to go back to 1991 to use a fax machine than it would be to find a working fax machine. But also, from a buy side perspective, people don't understand how much at a disadvantage they are if they're using an agent that is not active in the industry. Because perfect example, with multiple offer situations, I've had buyer's agents that have emailed me the offer and they don't follow up. They don't call, they don't text. How do they even know I got the offer? Because I've had times where it's ended up in my spam folder and I didn't even see the offer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens and you don't see it. That's one thing. I had a home inspector yesterday sitting for 2.5 hours waiting for an agent at the door. Because they didn't put it on Century Key, and it's like, why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing this to the client? Yeah. And then the selling agent, not the listing agent, he had to come with the key. That was a 2.5 hour person. I think it was more than that. The selling agent was there for maybe 20 minutes, and then they had to leave and go do a showing. And it's like, and am I out of line by saying that you as an agent should be there during that home inspection? And I used to think that the listing agent shouldn't be there, but now I'm actually on board that they should be there. Every market is different. I've noticed in the suburbs, listing agents aren't typically there, and I've had buyer's agents get upset with me when I am there, but I just tell them, look, I don't want to be caught off guard when we get your inspection report. And if I am there during the inspection, I can often answer questions for the buyer, and I have a lot of respect for home inspectors, but they're not always right. And I have had times where we're often wrong. Our bar to entry is ridiculously low.
Yeah, it's same on the realtor side.
I am not going to let anybody work under our name that's brand new in this business without me knowing about their communication skills.
Yeah,
but more so accuracy. I know you talked about education, but just before my Alzheimer's kicks in, accuracy. That's the most important thing. Knowledge, the more you know, the more you're worth in our business.
Absolutely. It's a difference between, a professional and an amateur. If you're taking the time to work on your craft and you're taking the time to educate yourself, you should be, you should get more business than anybody else.
But I still hear, and this is what they're teaching in the schools, and I think they're teaching this stuff kind of in the real estate schools as well. They don't teach much home inspection there, but in the home inspection school, it's defer. It's like, I'm going to come in there as a home inspector, and they're teaching these guys, well, something's not right with the electric, so you need to get an electrician. Something's not right with the roof, so get a roofer. Something's not right with the plumbing, so get a plumber. What the hell did I hire you for?
That's not particularly helpful. And then it lands on my desk, and I go, great. So,
who's going to make these appointments now and spend the other $5,000 to get the other experts in there? It gets crazy.
I like, Ryan, you used the word craft, and I really view the whole profession as something that it's dear to me, right? The fact that I get to help people buy and sell their home, and really develop a relationship with every one of those people, that drives me to want to continually improve. It drives me to want to keep up to date with all the latest what's going on in the law. It's what compels me to read like the real estate lawyer listserv to see what's being discussed in this particular corner of the industry. And if I didn't care that much, I would very much just be focused elsewhere, to be honest. I'd still be doing this, but I would have that approach, I think, would be one that's not what's best for my clients.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to soft skills, and it's a little bit different what we do, because what we do is not tangible. We're not building a table, or we're not building a house, but people don't understand that if you work on your soft skills and what you say is as important as how you say it. I had a deal a few months ago, rather, that one question saved the deal, and that was the buyers had canceled. And as soon as we got the cancellation letter, I called the buyer's agent. I said, "What can we do to keep your buyers in the deal?" And it was just one thing we needed to do, and we saved the deal. And I told my seller, because I think oftentimes people get too focused on the minutia and they don't look at the big picture. And I told my seller, look, you probably will not get, because once you go under contract and go back on the market, buyers look at that and they automatically think something's wrong with the property. I said, so it's very unlikely that you'll get this price again. I said, why would you let a dime hold up a dollar? All the buyer wanted was for us to leave the washer and dryer. That was it. That's
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You could buy another one. Somebody's going to buy it.
Yeah, right. What would you rather use your next mortgage payment on? The mortgage payment or a brand new washer and dryer? I mean, this is an easy decision.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What you said about how you communicate being just as important. It's even more than that. How you communicate. So that the words are. I hear different numbers, but there's something like between 17 and 30% of what you're communicating. So that leaves anywhere between 70 to 83% is body language and tone, inflection, these sorts of things. And look, you can use a really silly example like good morning. If I say good morning, I've just communicated something different than good morning. Right. So
everything provokes. I'm with you on all that stuff that comes in there. One of the things I always look up every month, Ryan, and you might get a kick out of this, and I know Patrick does. Right now, we're at 72,000 licensed real estate agents in the state of Illinois. That was from April 3rd.
Down a lot.
Well, I think it's April 30th of even numbered years are their renewals.
Right.
All right. So it was a year ago, and now it's going back up again.
Well, this year was managing brokers. Next year will be I guess just regular brokers.
That's right. They switch on there. And I'm adding up managing brokers and standard brokers. I'm adding both of those numbers.
Interesting.
So the managing brokers number did go down when it comes with it. And I guess that's my point. And same thing for home inspectors. There's 1,575 licensed home inspectors in the state of Illinois. 80% of our population is in the Chicagoland area. So 80% of these people are working in the Chicagoland area. Everybody has a choice. And that's my whole thing is how do you tell somebody that, and listen, this is your home. This is your money. This is your family's going to be living here. These are big decisions. Food, water, shelter. Shelter's a big decision, right? When it comes to these things. I know you hit Paslow, so now I got to hit Maslow, all right, on the hierarchy of needs when it comes with it. So, and that's where I was going is what makes everybody different? How does a person get the right person to them? Because it's more than filling in a blank.
Charlie, you asked a question earlier about what questions would you ask a real estate lawyer. I mean, I think you can kind of either any of the real estate professionals that you're discussing hiring. So here's another question to ask them: how long have you been handling real estate? And are you consistently in it, or are you dipping in and out of it? Like, I've been handling real estate transactions for almost 20 years, and
how many a year do you do transactions? And I know you don't know the number exactly, but give me a guess.
These days, roughly 100 a year.
That's a lot.
Trust me.
Yeah,
I know.
They're not small, rubber stamp tasks.
No, and everyone gets the white glove treatment. There is not, none of them are ones where I can take my foot off the pedal, because every one of them, deserves the 100%. So. And
what do you think the average amount of time that you spend with a client from beginning to end?
A lot. I don't measure it. Look, if you've ever had to keep your time to bill hourly, once you're no longer required to do so, you never will ever again.
I always, a family lawyer?
Yeah. I say this all the time, but a real estate transaction is nothing more than 1,000 conversations. That's all it is.
I like that.
It's probably pretty close. I wouldn't say 1,000, but it's probably pretty close.
It's a lot.
And on our end, it's kind of repetitive when it comes with it. Ryan, we are getting towards the end of the hour real quick. If you don't mind, give me a little more, or one more time. How do people get a hold of you? Give us all your contact info.
Sure. My cell phone number is 708-668-6613. And my email address is ryan@mynt, MYNT, properties.com.
Mynt Properties, not just, okay, that's cool. And Patrick, how about you?
The best way to contact me would be email. So Patrick at Loftus, LOF like Frank, T like Tom, US like Sam, .law. And if you're not into emails, you can slide into my DMs at Loftus_law on Insta and at Loftus Law on the Clock app.
Insta. I'm shaking my head right now. It's like I listen to my children and stepchildren, and it's like, well, it's called Instagram. No, it's Insta, for the short. So, I guess I'm
IG.
And nobody got time for all three of those syllables.
Oh my goodness. That's, and then they followed it up with boomers. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Make fun of that like there's no tomorrow. So my name is Charlie Belfontaine. We own Chicagoland Home Inspectors, and that website is www.thehomeinspectors.com. And our phone number is 312-544-9180. And I want to, we got roughly about a minute and a half left to go. And I want to give a special shout out to Devin Tingle. He's our producer. And he's the one who makes everything work so smoothly over here. And trust me, we screw things up. And he's always there to make sure everything works just fine. And a special shout out to Bernie and Judy. Hopefully you're both listening. Ryan, you got 15 seconds and give me some words of wisdom. Patrick, you're next.
I don't know what to say on the spot, but if you're interested in buying or selling a home, please reach out to me, Ryan McKane, 708-668-6613, Mynt Properties.
And you know what, though? One of the reasons why I like to have you and talk to you is you're kind, you're accepting, you're professional, and I don't know what it is. You have a passion to help other people buy a home. We'll leave it at that. Patrick?
Well, flattery will get you everywhere, Charlie.
Well, let's get our company on that list to start sending some referrals to. We need to build a relationship ourselves. And I just did put that on the air. Patrick, real quick.
If you're waiting to see Devin's We Explode, follow him. He's the disgruntled Sox fan on TikTok.
Sounds good. And thank you again for listening. This is the Home Buyers Hour on WCPT AM 820. And my name is Charlie, and I am out.